She was hiding behind my barn. It was a cold night in early winter. The sky was full of stars, and the wind moved slowly through the empty fields. John, a lonely farmer in his early 40s, had just finished feeding his animals. He was ready to lock the barn when he saw something strange. Behind the barn, something was glowing, a soft blue light. At first, he thought it was a lantern, but then it moved, not like a human, not like any animal he knew. He stepped closer, holding his flashlight. "Hello, who's there?" He called out. No answer. He moved slowly, boots crunching on the cold dirt. The glow was fading, like it was hiding. John turned the corner, and there he saw her. A woman. But not like any woman he had seen before. Her skin was pale blue. Her hair looked like silver threads. She was wearing torn, strange clothes, not warm enough for the freezing night. In her arms, she held a small child wrapped in a dirty blanket. She looked weak, scared. Her eyes were big and shining like stars. "Please," she said softly. Her voice was shaking. "No harm. We just need place." Warm, a tone stared at her, not sure what to say. "Are you human?" he asked. She shook her head slowly. "We come from far. Crash, ship, gone." Just us. John didn't know what to do. This had to be a dream. Or a trick. But then the child cried, a soft, high sound, not normal, not human, but not scary either. Just sad. The woman held the baby close. "We run. They chase. We cold. We hide. If I warm your bed, will you let us stay?" John stepped back. What did she mean? Warm his bed? Was she asking for help, or something else? He looked at the woman. Again, she was shaking. Her hands were bleeding. She was not dangerous. She was just lost. He sighed. "Come inside." He led her to the small wooden house. It was quiet and warm inside. He gave her a blanket, sat her near the fire, and poured hot soup into a bowl. She touched the bowl carefully, like she had never seen one before. She smiled, weak but thankful. The child looked around with wide eyes. It reached for a spoon and giggled. The sound was sweet. John sat down across from them. He was still confused, but his heart felt something he hadn't felt in years. "You have a name?" he asked. She hesitated, then said Zara. "He, my son." "Kiri," John nodded. "I'm John. You're safe here. For now." Zara looked at him with those glowing eyes. "You. Kind, most run. You stay." "I'm not most," John said. Suddenly, the lights flickered. A cold breeze came through the cracks in the walls. Zara looked scared again. She stood up, holding her child tight. "They near," she whispered. "They find us." John grabbed his flashlight and stepped outside. The air was still. The stars above seemed to blink. He walked around the barn, looking carefully. Nothing. But then, just as he turned back toward the house, he saw it. Something was moving at the edge of the woods, tall, thin, almost invisible, like a shadow with eyes. John froze. It moved again, fast, smooth. Too fast to be human. John ran back inside and locked the door. Zara was waiting by the fire. "Holding Kiri, they hear," she said. "They hunt us. If they find, we die." John looked at her. She was not lying. "Why are they chasing you?" Zara didn't answer right away. She just held her child tighter. Then she whispered, "Because I said no. I ran. I protect him." John didn't understand it all, but he knew one thing. These two were in danger. Real danger. He looked out the window again. The forest was quiet. But he knew something was out there, watching, waiting. He checked the gun hanging near the fireplace. Loaded, just in case. Zara looked at him with hope and fear. You help us. John nodded slowly. You saved my night from being empty. I'll try to save yours. The fire crackled softly. Outside, the wind grew stronger, but inside, for the first time in a long time, John's house was not silent. It was full of life, and something more, something strange, something about to change everything. John woke up to a strange sound. It was not the usual wind or the creak of his old house. This was soft, like a whisper coming from outside his window. He looked out but saw nothing but darkness and cold stars. Still, the feeling of being watched did not leave him. Zara was sitting by the small fire inside the room, holding her son Kiri close. The child's eyes were wide open, glowing faintly in the dark. John had never seen anything like it before. It made him both curious and nervous. Who are they? John asked quietly, not wanting to scare them. Zara looked at him, her face full of sadness. My people, not all same. Some good, some hunters. John blinked. Hunters, why do they want you? She hugged Kiri tighter and said, because I ran away. I carry secret. They want secret. They kill to get it. John felt a chill run down his spine. A secret? What kind of secret? Was it dangerous or powerful? Zara's voice became softer. I was part of their group once, but I left to save my son, and maybe Earth. John stared at her. Earth. Yes, she said slowly. This planet is new for us. I want it safe, but they come to take Kiri back. John thought about it, aliens hunting an alien mother on Earth. It sounded like a story from a movie. But this was real. Outside, the wind picked up again. It whispered through the cracks in the windows. John's mind raced. How could he protect them? He had no weapons, no help. Just his old rifle and his courage. Suddenly, Kiri reached out his small hand and touched John's arm. Warm feelings spread inside him, strange and strong. It was like the child was giving him power or asking for help. John looked at Zara. He's special. Yes, Zara whispered. Kiri is starborn. He has power they want. If they catch him, war will come to Earth. John's heart pounded. War? On his quiet farm. He realized this was bigger than him. Bigger than any danger he had faced before. Tell me everything, John said. Zara took a deep breath. Long ago, our home was a bright world in another star system. But it was destroyed by war. My people divided us. Some wanted peace, others wanted power. Us. She looked at the fire, her eyes reflecting. The flames. I belonged to the peace group, but the hunters, they are different. They want to find the power hidden in Kiri's blood. John wanted to ask more, but the sound of something moving outside stopped him. He stood quickly and looked out the window again in the dark woods near the edge of the farm. Two glowing eyes stared back at him. They come, Zara said softly, almost afraid. John grabbed his rifle and moved slowly to the door. The night was cold, and his breath showed in the air. He stepped outside, flashlight in one hand, rifle in the other. The eyes moved silently between the trees. Shadows shifted, and the shape of tall, thin creatures appeared. They looked nothing like humans. Their bodies were covered in dark armor that seemed to blend with the night. John's hands trembled, but he stayed calm. Go back, he said loudly, trying to sound stronger than he felt. One of the creatures stepped forward. Its voice was low and strange, like a machine trying to speak. Return the child, or suffer the consequences. John's mind raced. He could not let them take Kiri. Not without a fight. He raised his rifle and fired a warning shot into the air. The creatures vanished into the woods like ghosts. John closed the door quickly and locked it. Inside, Zara held Kiri close and whispered, "Thank you." John sat down, breathing hard. "You're safe here, I promise." But he knew it was a lie. The hunters would come back. And next time, they might not be alone. Zara looked at him with tired eyes. "We need help. We cannot fight forever." John nodded. "I have a friend in town. Maybe he can help." Zara smiled faintly. "You are kind. Earth is lucky." The night passed slowly. John kept watch, listening to every sound. He thought about the glowing child and the strange woman who had risked everything to protect him. He felt something inside change. His lonely life was over. A new story had begun. Before dawn, John heard a soft tapping at the window. He looked and saw Kiri's eyes glowing brighter than before. The child reached out, and the window glass cracked without breaking. John felt a strange warmth spread from the house into the cold air. Zara whispered, "He is calling." John knew then that Kiri's power was real, and it was not just a secret. It was a hope. A chance for peace, but hope had a price. Oh, and the night was not over. The hunters would return. And John, Zara, and Kiri would have to face the danger together. John looked at the rising sun. The world outside was waking up, but for him, this was only the beginning of a long, dark fight. And one question stayed in his mind. Could he protect them, or would he lose everything he cared about? John barely slept that night. Every sound made his heart beat faster. He sat near the window with his old rifle, waiting for the sun to rise. Inside, Zara and Kiri stayed close to the fire. The house, once empty and cold, now felt full of fear, of mystery, and of something John could not explain. In the early morning, John decided to check the barn. He wanted to see if the hunters had left any sign. He walked out quietly, shotgun ready, eyes searching every shadow. Dew covered the ground, and a strange smell was in the air, a mix of burned metal and something sweet. Almost like flowers, as he opened the barn door, he stopped. Deep scratch marks ran across the wooden walls, higher than any animal could reach. There was a small pool of thick, dark liquid, like black oil, but somehow alive. Moving slowly as if it was searching for something. He shivered. These were not normal visitors. Suddenly, he heard a voice behind him, soft, musical, and frightened. "Don't touch," Zara said. She had followed him outside, holding Kiri close. "That is Hunter's mark. If you touch, they can find you." John stepped back. What do they want so badly? Zara looked away. "Kiri, my son, is different. He holds something inside him, a memory. A map. The hunters want it. With the map, they can start a new war." John tried to understand. A map? In his mind. In his blood. Zara said quietly, "Kiri is the key." John watched the child. Kiri was looking at a broken window on the barn wall. T reached out, small blue fingers glowing. As he touched the glass, the cracks began to heal. The glass became clear again, better than before. John's eyes widened. He fixed it. Zara nodded. He can fix or destroy. That's why they fear him. For a moment, John wondered if he should have let them stay. Was he bringing danger to his own home? But then he saw Kiri's smile, gentle and innocent, and the fear faded a little. Suddenly, a sharp sound came from inside the house, like the radio turning on by itself. They rushed back in. The old radio on the kitchen shelf glowed blue, playing. Static. Then a deep, cold voice filled the room. "They are here. Do not help them. This is your only warning." John stared at the radio in shock. The voice did not sound human. He switched the radio off, but it turned back on. The voice continued, slow and heavy. If you choose their side, you will fall with them. John grabbed the radio and pulled out the batteries. It finally fell silent. He looked at Zara, who was shaking. They control the machines. John asked. Zara nodded. Their tech can reach far, even here. They speak in your language now. John took a deep breath. Why did you really run? What did you do? Zara's eyes filled with tears. I said no. They wanted my son to become a weapon. I wanted him to have a life. They called me traitor. I stole a ship. We crashed here. John sat down at the table, everything spinning in his head. Aliens, hunters, a child with a map in his blood. He wanted to run, but something inside told him to stay. He saw Kiri standing in the sunlight. The boy looked at John, eyes shining, and said for the first time, "Thank you." John smiled, surprised that the child could speak English, even just a little. But Kiri's smile faded, and he walked to the window, staring out at the forest. John followed his gaze and saw movement quick and low. Like shadows slipping between trees, John turned to Zara. We need a plan. Zara wiped her tears. We hide during day. At night, they come. They do not like sunlight. John's mind raced. He checked his rifle, then gathered food and water. You both stay here. I'll block the windows, watch the woods. I know some old tricks. He pulled an old dusty trap from under the sink and set it by the back door. He scattered flour near the windows to check for footprints. He felt like a soldier again only now. The war was not between men. As the sun set, John saw Kiri sitting quietly, eyes closed, glowing softly. Zara sat with him, humming a strange, beautiful melody. Suddenly, Kiri floated a few inches above the ground, his body shining blue. John's jaw dropped. He had never seen anything like it. Kiri opened his eyes and pointed to the door. John turned and saw a thin, dark hand reach through the glass. John fired his rifle. The window shattered. The creature outside screamed, a high metal sound, and vanished into the night. John ran to Kiri and Zara. Get away from the door. Kiri fell to the floor, weak and shaking. Zara held him, whispering words in a language John did not know. Outside, the woods were alive with movement. The hunters were closer than ever. John realized then there was no turning back. He would fight for these two, no matter what. But as he looked at the strange blue light in Kiri's hands, he wondered, was he fighting for the future of Earth? Or for the beginning of something even stranger? And, outside, in the dark, more eyes were watching. The night was colder than before. Every corner of John's old farmhouse seemed to shiver. He barely closed his eyes, listening to every sound. The wind was strong, but there were other noises too: soft footsteps on the roof, the click of claws on wood, a distant strange song that made his skin crawl. John stood guard by the door, rifle ready. He could feel Zara and Kiri breathing quietly. Behind him, sometimes, he glanced at them, worried they might disappear if he looked away for even a moment. Zara whispered, "Tonight, they come for us." John nodded. He felt a heavy weight in his chest, but he did not want to show fear, not now. He blocked the doors with furniture and checked the traps he'd set. The flour on the floor near the windows was untouched. Outside, everything was dark, too quiet suddenly. The child, Kiri, opened his eyes. His whole body glowed softly. He pointed to the ceiling. They are here. At that exact moment, the light bulb above their heads flickered, then exploded. Glass rained down. Something moved fast across the roof, then a sharp sound as claws scraped against the metal. John shouted, "Get back." He pulled Zara and Kiri behind him. A long, thin arm reached down through the broken ceiling, black as coal, fingers moving like snakes. John fired his rifle. The arm jerked back, leaving a trail of black liquid behind. The house shook. The hunters were trying to get inside. Zara closed her eyes and touched Kiri's head. "Remember? Stay calm. Show him, Kiri." Kiri nodded, frightened, but brave. He held John's hand. Suddenly, John felt a shock like electricity, but it didn't hurt. Instead, he felt his senses sharpen. He could see in the dark, hear the softest sounds. "What? What is this?" he asked. Amazed, Zara smiled sadly. "You are connected now. You see what we see. You feel what we feel." Suddenly, John saw the world differently. He could see blue lines everywhere, energy flowing through the walls, through Zara, through Kiri, even through himself. The hunters moved around the house, fast and silent. John could see their shapes now, not just shadows. They were tall, almost invisible, with glowing lines on their bodies. "They are afraid of the child," Zara said, "but they want him too." The house shook again. One hunter smashed a window and crawled in, its body twisting like liquid metal. John aimed and fired, but the bullet went through. The creature screamed, then reformed, moving straight at Kiri. John jumped in front, heart pounding. "You want him? You go through me." The hunter stopped. It looked at John with cold, shining eyes. Then it reached out, touching John's shoulder. Suddenly, John saw flashes of memories, other worlds burning, families running, the hunters chasing, never stopping. He saw Kiri as a baby, Zara holding him tight, hiding, always hiding. The hunter hissed, "Give us the child. Give us the map." John gritted his teeth. Never. Kiri started to glow brighter, blue light shining out from his hands. The hunter tried to grab him, but the light burned its arm. The creature shrieked and pulled back, smoke rising from its skin. More hunters were climbing on the roof, smashing at the doors and windows. John could see them all. No 6, maybe 7. Too many. Zara looked at John, fear in her eyes. "They will not stop. If they get inside, we are finished." John remembered the traps he'd set. He grabbed Zara and Kiri, the basement. Now, they ran down the old wooden stairs into the basement. John slammed the door and locked it. The basement was dark, cold, and full of dust. But it was safer than upstairs. For now, John breathed hard, trying to think. How do we fight them? Guns don't work. Kiri crawled into John's lap. He put his small, glowing hand on John's heart. John felt a warmth spread through his body. Suddenly, he understood things he never knew before lie in words. Strange shapes, codes written in light. Zara watched closely. He is showing you. He is sharing his gift. Upstairs, the hunters were breaking through, with splintered glass. Shattered. They were coming. John looked at his hands. They glowed blue, just like Kiri's. He understood now. He was not just a protector. He was part of their family. John stood up. Ready? If they want to fight, they'll get one. Suddenly, the basement wall cracked. A black claw reached through the stone. The hunters were coming, and there was nowhere left to run. John faced the darkness, glowing blue. "You can't have them," he said, voice strong. "I will fight for them. I will fight for us all." In that moment, the battle for the child and for Earth truly began. The basement walls shook as the hunters smashed against them. John pressed his back to the cold stone, feeling his heart race. He could hear Kiri breathing fast, see blue light flickering in the darkness as the child clung to Zara. The air smelled like dust and something strange, something electric and alive. John looked at his hands. They still glowed with the energy Kiri had shared. He flexed his fingers, feeling warmth pulsing in his veins. It was powerful, but he did not know how to use it. Above, something heavy crashed to the floor. The hunters were tearing through the house. John closed his eyes, searching for an idea. The only way out was to fight, but with what? His gun was useless. The gift inside him was still a mystery. Then Kiri crawled to John's side. The child pressed his palm to John's chest. Suddenly, John's mind filled with images, rivers of light, moving stars, the pattern of life itself. He gasped. The blue energy inside him grew stronger, filling every part of him. Zara spoke softly. He is giving you his hope. You are more than human now. John shivered, afraid and amazed at the same time. He stood, blue light shining from his skin. I'll protect you, I promise. At that moment, the wall cracked open and one of the hunters forced its way inside. It moved like black smoke, sharp and hungry. Its eyes burned like fire. John stepped forward. Instinct took over. He raised his glowing hand and, without thinking, pushed it toward the creature. A flash of blue energy shot out, striking the hunter, and sending it flying back into the wall. John stumbled, shocked by his own power. The hunter shrieked and tried again. This time, John's body moved on its own. The blue light formed a shield around him, humming with energy. The hunter slammed into the shield and bounced off, screeching in pain. Zara watched, tears in her eyes. You are connected now. Kiri trusts you. More hunters poured in through the broken wall, their bodies shifting and twisting. John felt their anger, their hunger for Kiri's secret. But he also felt something else, a memory, not his own. A planet far away, a city lost to war, a promise made in the darkness. John understood. Kiri was more than a child. He was hope for a new beginning. The hunters surrounded them, snarling in a language John suddenly knew. Give us the map. Give us the child, or your world will burn. John shook his head. No, not today. He focused, calling on the energy inside him. It felt like reaching for a sun burning in his chest. Blue light burst from his hands, knocking the hunters back. But there were too many. The basement shook as the hunters attacked again and again. John's new power was strong, but it was not endless. He could feel it fading, like a candle burning low. Kiri crawled into John's arms. The child's face was pale, his glow dimming. Zara knelt beside them, whispering words of hope. We can't hold them forever, John said. Is there another way? Zara closed her eyes, thinking. There is one thing. Kiri's gift can call for help, but it is dangerous. It could bring more hunters, or something worse. John looked at Kiri. The child nodded, bravely. Do it, John said. We have no other choice. Kiri placed his hand on the basement floor. Blue light spread through the cracks, moving like water, reaching deep into the earth. The hunters screamed and tried to stop him, but John blocked them with his shield. Suddenly, the ground trembled. The light rose up through the whole house, then shot into the sky a blue beam so bright it could be seen for miles. The hunters froze, confused. For the first time, they looked afraid. Far above, something answered. A distant hum, a signal returning from the stars. John felt the power. Drained from his body, but he stood tall, arms around Kiri and Zara. It's done. Help is coming. The hunters howled in rage, then disappeared into the darkness, melting back into the ground. The basement was silent again. Zara hugged Kiri tight. John sat down, exhausted, his blue glow fading. Outside in the night sky, new lights appear, shapes moving among the stars, getting closer. John didn't know if they were friends or enemies. He only knew one thing. Nothing would ever be the same. And as the blue light faded from the farmhouse, John whispered to himself, "I will protect them, no matter what comes next." John sat on the cold basement floor, feeling the energy inside him fade. His arms were heavy around Zara and Kiri. Above them, the house creaked and moaned, still shaking from the battle. Dust drifted in the blue. Light, now only a soft glow. For a while, nothing happened. Just silence. Zara stroked Kiri's hair. The child's breathing was slow, but he was safe. Then a distant humming began. It was not thunder, not wind, something new, something huge, moving in the sky. John pushed himself up and peered through a crack in the basement window. The night outside was no longer dark. The sky was alive with strange shaped circles of silver, blinking lights, shadows gliding over the trees. Something massive hung above the farmhouse, blocking out the stars. John's heart raced. "Is that your people?" he whispered. Zara listened, her eyes full of worry. "Not all my people. Not all our friends." Suddenly, a blinding white beam shot down from the largest ship, lighting up the whole yard. John squinted and saw soldiersmen in dark suits with guns rushing across the fields. "Earth people," John said, surprised. They came fast. Zara pressed Kiri close. "Kay will not understand. They will be afraid." Heavy boots thudded above as soldiers broke into the house. "This is the military," a voice shouted. "Come out with your hands up." John's head spun. If they saw Zara and Kiri, what would they do? Help them. Lock them away. Hand them over to the hunters. Zara gripped his arm. "We cannot let them take him, please." John nodded. "Stay here." He climbed the basement steps, heart pounding. The kitchen was full of broken glass and strange blue marks. Soldiers aimed guns at him. "Are you John Carter?" An officer barked, "Is there anyone else here?" John stood tall. "Just me." "What's happening?" The officer's eyes narrowed. "Something landed here. Something from Earth. Our sensors went crazy. You need to tell us everything." John hesitated. If he lied, they might search and find Zara and Kiri. If he told the truth, would they believe him? Suddenly, the floor shook. A deep, metallic voice echoed from outside. "All humans remain inside. This is not your fight." The soldiers looked confused, aiming their weapons at the windows. A shape appeared in the bright beam, tall and shining, neither human nor hunter. It spoke with a voice that sounded like thunder and music at the same time. "We have come for the Starborn," it said. "Give him to us, and your world will be safe." John felt fear rise again. Zara and Kiri were still in the basement. He had to protect them. The officer turned to John. "What do they mean? Do you know something?" John shook his head. "I don't know what they want." Outside, more shapes landed. The new aliens did not attack, but they surrounded the house, waiting. The hunters were gone, but a new danger was here. Then, the basement door opened quietly. Kiri stepped out, blue eyes shining in the light. The soldiers gasped, some backing away in fear. Zara followed, her face calm but determined. Kiri walked to John and took his hand. The new aliens at the window bowed their heads. "He is the key," Zara whispered. "He can stop the war, or start one." The officer raised his gun. "That? A child." John stood in front of Kiri, his hands open. "He's just a boy. He needs help, not fear." The lead alien outside spoke again. "Human, the Starborn must choose. Come with us and peace will return. Refuse, and both our worlds will suffer." John looked at Zara. She nodded. Kiri must decide. Kiri squeezed John's hand. Then, bravely, he stepped forward into the light. "I want peace," the child said. No more hiding. No more running. The aliens nodded, lowering their weapons. Suddenly, Hunter's scream echoed in the distance. One last hunter, not gone yet. It burst from the shadows, rushing toward Kiri, claws reaching out. John leaped between them, raising his glowing hands. The hunter crashed into him, but this time the blue light was stronger, brighter. It burned the hunter away, leaving only smoke and silence. Kiri hugged John tight. You protected me, the child whispered. The lead alien looked at John. You are part of our story now. You are chosen. John felt the truth in those words. He was changed human and something more as dawn broke. The ships in the sky faded one by one until only a soft hum was left. The military officers lowered their guns, not sure what to believe. Zara smiled at John. Thank you for everything. John watched the sunrise, wondering what came next. He knew the world had changed forever. And deep inside, he hoped that somehow peace could last. But he also knew, somewhere in the stars, others were watching, and they might not be as kind. John stood in the pale morning light, the world around him still and strange. The farmhouse looked broken windows, smashed, walls cracked, blue marks glowing softly on the wood. Soldiers searched the yard, confused and afraid. In the sky, only faint traces of silver clouds showed where the alien ships had hovered. Zara held Kiri's hand as they watched the soldiers talk to their radios and point at the damage. No one dared come close. The boy's eyes glowed, gentle, but powerful, and wherever he looked, people seemed to feel calm, almost peaceful. A quiet moment stretched between them. John felt different inside, not just tired, not just sore. He felt connected, as if the blue energy was a part of him now. He wondered if it would ever fade, or if he would always be half alien in some small way. Zara touched his arm. You changed the story for us, John. You gave us a home, even when you were afraid. John shook his head. I was just a lonely man before you found my farm. Now, I think I belong to something bigger. Kiri smiled up at him. Can we stay? John, here on Earth. John knelt down and brushed dirt from the boy's hair. You can stay as long as you want. This place is yours too. The soldiers gathered, finally brave enough to approach. The leader, a tired-looking officer, looked at John with worry. We've never seen anything like this. What are they? Are we safe? John spoke softly, choosing his words with care. They are family now. They're not here to hurt anyone. But if you try to take them, I'll fight to protect them whatever it takes. The officer looked at Kiri's glowing eyes and seemed to understand. He nodded and led his men away, leaving the three alone again. Suddenly, the sky flickered. A deep, musical hum rolled across the farm. Another ship appeared smaller than before, shining gold and white. It landed gently by the old barn, stirring dust and broken hay. From the ship stepped a tall figure, dressed in robes that shimmered with shifting colors. The figure bowed deeply to Kiri, then to Zara, and finally to John. You have proven yourself. Human, the figure said, voice echoing with power. Because of your kindness and your courage, your world is safe for now. Kiri walked to the stranger, reaching out his small hand. I choose Earth. I want peace here. I don't want to run anymore, the stranger smiled. Then peace will begin with you. He placed his hand on Kiri's head, and for a moment, the whole world felt brighter. Like the sun had broken through every cloud. John felt hope fill his heart stronger than fear, stronger than pain. He looked at Zara, who smiled through her tears. The stranger turned to John. There will be others who come, some in peace, some in war. But you have changed the path for both our worlds. You are a bridge between stars now. The ship rose again, disappearing into the morning sky. John led Zara and Kiri back into the house, past the broken windows and glowing blue marks. They sat together by the fireplace, where the flames seemed a little warmer, a little brighter. For the first time in a long time, John's house was not empty. It was full of life, full of laughter, and full of hope. As the day turned to night again, Kiri curled up by the fire and asked softly, "If I warm your bed, will you still let us stay?" John smiled, tucking a blanket around him. "You don't have to ask. This is your home now, as long as you need." Zara whispered, "Thank you, John, for saving us." John looked at the stars outside the window, wondering what else waited out there. What new stories would come to his small farm? He knew the world had changed forever. Maybe he had, too. But tonight, with his new family safe beside him, John was not afraid of the darkness anymore. And high above, far in the night sky, a gentle blue star shone brighter than all the rest, a promise that everything had truly changed.